One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Legend in the making, day by day.
Happy freaking Thirsty Thursday to everybody. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves, having a great morning so far. I definitely know that we are. Man, why can't I scroll down and get my... For some reason, it's not allowing me to scroll up and down to get out of this fucking thing. I don't know if I have to refresh the entire StreamYard real quick. Let me do that. That's weird. I'm glitched out. Let me do that. Okay, let's see what happened here. Let's see if I can scroll. Now I can. That's weird. Total weird. Look at that cat. No, dude. Fucking doing the fucking ass thing. Hey! Don't do that. Oh, man. Hold on. What a fucking... Come here. Come here. Come here. Lucy. Come here. Come here. Let me inspect you. I got you, baby. I got you. Hold on, she's got some shit on her ass. Give me a second. Stop. Stop. Lay down. Oh man, she did it bad. This is not good. That is not good, chat. That's not good. Come here. Come here. Come here. Well, yeah, I feel bad for her. It's hard being a long-haired cat, and she once in a while gets stuck, and unfortunately, there's no other way to fucking get it out than for her to drag her fucking ass. And so you have to go over there and like literally yank it out of her. It's terrible, man. All right, we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, we're good. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning so far. I definitely know that we are. We have a pretty incredible morning so far already lined up. As you guys see, the government shutdown is officially over. And yes, Kat, They are sexy cat problems. You know, that's just a problem. It's an issue. All right. So, anyways, as you guys know, the government shutdown is officially over. Trump signed it last night, as well as the House. So we're going to be talking about it a little bit. We're going to start with the House passes bill to end longest government shutdown. I think it was 43 days, 44 days, something like that. Johnson, and then we're going to be talking about Johnson slams Democrats after House passes bill to end the shutdown. All right. Kitty, hey, don't do that. Not good. You're going to shit all over this fucking place. You're dragging your ass and putting it all over my fucking carpet. Don't do that. Ah, man, that's so frustrating. Anyways, Trump signs a funding bill ending government shutdown. And then we have VP Vance and RFK Jr. speak at Maha event, Make America Healthy Again, by the way. House to vote next week on Epstein files, Johnson says. And then we have a little update from the Israeli government. Israel Hamas latest IDF to receive captive's body. So another hostage is going to be released. So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's absolutely free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the show, man, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's absolutely free to do so. Please consider, though, becoming a member. This is the money part. Starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to stay on these airwaves. Hey! She's doing it again. Oh, terrible. Man, this is fucked. This is a fucked situation. But we're gonna fucking do this. I'm not allowing that shit to fucking conquer me. All super chats, super stickers, gift of membership signups are of course all gonna be presented live onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to, and of course I will read out anything that comes my way on basically like a super chat. So I have my email up. If anything happens, we are ready to rock and roll. We're going to miss the comments for this morning because we got way too much fucking shit going on back here. So let's go ahead and bring up what is happening currently. Why is my camera all fucked up too? I don't understand. All right, I'm going to fix it.
And we continue to bring you the very latest here on Live Now from Fox. Again, taking a look here at the official tally. Just need about 172 more votes to come through. As
which it already did. So
the last 43 days has been for this record government shutdown. I want to bring in our great friend here on Live Now from Fox, Brian Sobel, political analyst. Great to have you on this evening. And it looks like, Brian, that we are just a little about an hour away now, awaiting the president's signature when he...
Cynthia, how about you shut the fuck up? How about that? How about you get the fuck out of my chat, you fucking pompous bitch?
Does get this bill.
How about that?
Historic night, Mike.
Suck my
for all
dick.
the wrong reason. The idea that we have gone through a 43-day government shutdown, which was entirely unnecessary. It could have resulted weeks ago in a continuing resolution, which is in effect what we're doing now, pushing this off to January. And instead, the brinkmanship ends up with this kind of vote necessary tonight. But it looks like the speaker has the votes he needs.
Yeah, that's so true, Brian.
No.
And I mean,
no, she's good, Naomi. As long as she's not dragging her ass and leaving shit streaks all across my place, which she did. I'm gonna have to clean up, like literally, carpet wash this shit today.
Let's look back.
Oh, well.
43 days ago, that CR was there. They could have just did what they waited 43 days to do. And I think a lot of people are wondering, especially the Democrats, where it seems like within the party, they can't be too happy amongst themselves because they're thinking, okay, what did we get? What did we hold out for?
This is the thing, Mike. I don't know, as we're looking back on 43 days, what they expected to get out of it other than to break the will of the Republican side of Congress, the Senate in first order, and then the House, or together. But what was the point of it after 3, 4, 5 days?
Well, unfortunately, what was the point of the entire shutdown? Because the Democrats really didn't gain anything from this. They just stalled out for 40 plus days and then ended up not really getting anything from it.
When nobody moved, then you were into a stalemate, and then it became a test of wills. And it was very clear that the Republicans were not going to give an inch And the pressure was building, as we witnessed. The pressure was building across the country because of things like the SNAP benefits, the food stamp benefits, the problems with the airline industry, air traffic controllers, with federal government employees not being paid. It went on and on. It's really why I think you saw somebody like a Tim Kaine, senator from Virginia, switching and voting for the end of the government shutdown. Why? Because all politics is either money or votes. And
True.
in his case, he was
Money and votes, not either or. It's both.
looking at 250,000 federal workers saying, hey, we're not getting paid, and Senator, we want you to change your vote and open the government.
Brian, were you surprised?
Wow. Interesting.
Because, when we look back at these 43 days,
I wonder what truly made those 5 Democrats flip, though, and vote the way that they did to reopen the government. I bet you their own party's actually pretty damn pissed off about that.
in the beginning, both sides were digging in. There was clear that it wasn't going to be ending.
Oh, Gary, of course they're all getting paid. Everybody in Congress gets paid, but any federal worker does not. Okay? Which is, listen, if you're voting to shut down the government and not, people not get paychecks, you should be affected too. I mean, you're telling me these guys in Congress cannot withstand going 3, 4, 5 weeks without a paycheck? Get out of here. They absolutely can.
Very soon. But around Halloween, that is when we had the SNAP benefits, and November 1st would kick in, and that's when a lot of people would be losing the benefits.
Much love,
a lot
Papa
of people
D.
would probably think, okay, now it's probably going to gear towards ending the shutdown because they want to resolve it before something happens like that with SNAP. That didn't happen. But are you surprised, though, that really it seemed like the ball got going when the travel nightmares started to happen?
Well, I think it was that and the fact, Mike, that people were now starting to see real effects. I think a lot of people felt like, hey, it goes a week, a couple of weeks. We can afford that. We're going to get back pay. We've got enough food in the refrigerator. We aren't traveling at holiday time to visit relatives. All of a sudden, all of these things started to come together, and that created real pressure on the Congress to act. And I think as they say, at the end of the day, I think a lot of these members of Congress knew that it was time to settle up and move on. And a lot of the shutdown.
Well, yeah, because you're not getting anywhere. You're not doing anything. And then the Republicans are standing there like, we're not doing anything different. We're convicted in our stance. And this is not going to go anywhere.
I think had to do with Democrats trying to gain some momentum, believe it or not, here in 2025 for the 26th term, setting the scene that the Republicans couldn't handle their business. And instead, this may have backfired on Democrats and certainly on the leadership of Democrats on the Senate side.
Did they actually pass that, by the way, Seymour? I reported on that, yesterday or the day before, I believe. You guys can correct me on the day. But nonetheless, we had reported that they're essentially trying to ban all THC, well, not actually THC products. It's actually any cannabis products, any hemp products, which is terrible. I think that was stemmed out of Texas. And so you're telling me they actually passed it? No way. That would be terrible.
Quite possibly on the House side as well.
That's all great points there, Brian. And I think what I really want to ask you is, right now the Democrats.
Real quick, we got Naomi coming in with the $4.99. I very much appreciate that. Saying huge love to Mike. Donut Train, don't leave me hanging, IWF. That's a fact. That's awesome. And Rebecca says, what did they ban? They're trying to, I guess if it did pass, that means they're banning all cannabis products, which is any marijuana, anything, basically. Terrible.
We got 180 saying no, 181 saying no. So they are saying that they do not want to reopen the government. How do they go back to their districts and say, yep, I didn't want to reopen it?
Because they're going to go back and say that essential benefits like health care were not dealt with through this process. They are talking about premiums skyrocketing and people not having resources in which to pay for health care. That has been the...
Yo, Bree coming in with the $2 saying choo choo. Yes, I appreciate that very much. Thank you for making it rain, you guys in the chat.
Democrat mantra right from the beginning. And Republicans have been saying we had a clean...
Man, why haven't I started smoking? Man, I need it this morning for damn sure.
Continuing resolution so that we could kick the can down the road a little bit to talk through these issues. And as you know, the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, did say he would bring this up in December for discussion. By the way, Speaker Johnson has not promised the same thing. So through it all, we have to remember we have both the Senate and the House of Representatives, and they don't necessarily think alike. And I'm just looking at the numbers here, and this is going to be a close vote.
Yeah, it really will be close. And even though now we have 3 Democrats that have went on the Republican side, they'll be able to say, though, Brian, that it's bipartisan.
Steve Easy with the $5 saying OG chat ain't cheap. Hell yeah, bro. That's a fact. That is a fact. Appreciate that.
Right. I think Republicans will give credit, as they did to those 7 Democrat senators and the 1 independent senator who moved over. I think they'll make the same claim about.
Yeah, Prez, there's 2 live streams. There's a vertical live stream and a horizontal live stream going on at the exact same time on my channel right now. So you can go, if you don't like the vertical live or whatever, then hop on over to the horizontal.
What is 3 Democrats here, as I look at the graphic or the live shot, who have moved over. It'll be interesting to see who the 3 are, and obviously they're going to be challenged by the media and others to explain why they voted with Republicans. But the idea that you would go 43 days without solving a problem, or at least to say, I think we could come together and work together on this.
Sterling Will with the $5 saying, good morning, kids. My man. Making that shit rain. I very much appreciate you guys. Thank
Really,
you,
I think speaks to the
Sterling, for that.
in Congress right now. And the idea that we're getting very, very close again to midterms. And I think this was a way of highlighting for the United States citizens, voters, that the Republicans don't have their arms around the problems.
Gary, you would just go to my main profile, go to the live stream section on my profile, not videos, not shorts. You know, you go over to live stream, and then you'll see 2 different lives.
And Brian, in the last couple of weeks, President Trump was obviously getting frustrated that shutdown
right there
was continuing, and even going to say, hey, let's end the filibuster. Let's just go back to simple majority and really, while we have the time, start passing some of the sweeping legislation. That didn't seem to really excite Senator Thune and others. Is that what is pretty much needed now for President Trump, to end the filibuster, to really maybe push through some of the agenda items that he campaigned for?
Well, I would make 2 points. One is that a lot of people thought that John Thune would march to the Donald Trump drum 100% of the time, and he proved with the filibuster idea, breaking the filibuster, that he is indeed marching to his own drummer, at least on that issue. Sometimes when there is an idea that you need to set aside something that's in place for a reason, like the filibuster legislation, or the rules, I should say, that changing it for a particular vote tends to come back and haunt you.
Okay, so I understand what he's getting at, but it's really kind of redundant here. Let me go ahead and see if there is, at the end here, there is a little something going on. Let's go ahead and see what's happening.
So we thought this was going to be a slim passage. It is slim, but the Speaker has the votes he needs.
Yeah, let's just listen in right here for just a moment to get that final count.
The motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
And there it is, the clapping on the Republican side as is now official there. And we are waiting to see Speaker Johnson, if he will be speaking to the media. We'll be bringing that to...
And Johnson will be speaking to the media, and I have that clip right here. So let me go ahead and pull that up, because I know that he's not going to end up talking there. We're going to go ahead and bring this up.
Welcome back, everyone, to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us. House passing just moments ago the bill to reopen the government in favor, 222 to 209. And now...
Wow, that's a fairly close vote. 222 to 209. Wow.
Looks like we have Speaker Johnson coming to the podium. Let's listen in.
Brutal.
Well, good evening, everybody. We feel very relieved tonight. The Democrat shutdown is finally over, thanks to House and Senate Republicans who stood together to get the job done. Absolutely no question in anybody.
No, Hardwire. It only shows that for me in the StreamYard. It's not going to show, I mean, obviously, if you're on that side of YouTube, you're not going to see the other people commenting on the other stream, so.
It's mine now that the Democrats were responsible for this. What happened? Millions of American families went without food on their table. You had millions of Americans stranded in airports with their flights canceled and delayed. You had troops and federal employees wondering where their next paycheck would come from. The Democrats openly admitted, many of them said it in their own words, that they used the American people as leverage in this political game. They knew that it would cause that pain to the people.
Every politician uses people as leverage. Just saying.
And they did it anyway. They did it for their own selfish purposes, their political purposes, and it was a game they played with real people's lives. It's something that is very difficult to forgive. I want to say that all this was utterly pointless and foolish. This outcome was totally foreseeable. I said that this would be the outcome when all this began back in mid-September.
Steve Posey,
they did
my
it
man.
anyway. Democrats admitted that they used the people as leverage, and they got nothing for their selfish political stunt here. They didn't achieve anything with this at all. And anyone who studied history would know that shutdowns never yield any positive result. It just hurts people. I said on the House floor a little while ago that we did all this in good faith. From the very beginning, I was insistent about this. Our leadership team was. The Republicans did the right thing. We had a nonpartisan continuing resolution. We didn't have any Republican priorities on it at all. We just said, in good faith, let's keep the lights on. Let's
Lick it up with Poncho, my man. Good morning.
keep this going for another 7 weeks so that
Two-wheel
the Congress
Jesus.
can do its work, so they can get back to the regular appropriations process, the way that it is supposed to be done for the people, so that we're good stewards with their money. That hasn't been done here in a long time. And we said we want to get back
Outlaw Preacher, good morning.
to that. Now, I'm pleased that tonight on the CR we had 3 appropriations bills. that
Extra
we've now-
surprise?
We'll send over to the president's desk in just a short amount of time tonight to get signed into law. That's an innovation.
Which, by the way, this whole thing, this bill to end the government shutdown, yes, this was right after the House had passed the vote, but it still needed to be signed by Trump. Now, last night, Trump did end up signing,
Too, as you all know, it's been years
which is now the government is officially back open.
since Congress actually did separate appropriations bills. I'm proud of that achievement, but I'm really sad that it took us so long to get here. There was so much pain that had to be endured to get to this point. Voters are going to remember which political party played games with their lives. They're going to remember that they did this for their own selfish purposes so that they could look tough to the radical elements of their base, and real people suffered because of that game. So now that we've got the lights back on, we've got the government reopened, the president will sign that triumphantly tonight, and Republicans will get right back to the work that we promised the American people that we will do. We're going to deliver for the American people, as we have been doing. And I'll leave you with this thought. There's a split screen in America right now. There's a split screen. On one side of the screen, you have President Trump and the Republican majorities in the Congress and the Senate and the House doing the work for the American people. Look what we've achieved in the first 10 months of this year. You can make an argument that it's the most productive season for a new Congress and a new presidency, a new administration, at least in the modern era, maybe of all time. Just in this short amount of months, we got the border secured. We fulfilled that promise. We are working on the crime crisis around the country. We have new trade agreements. We have a return to American energy dominance. We have cut taxes, the largest tax cut in U.S. history in a literal sense. We're cutting regulations. We're ending fraud, waste, and abuse out of government. We're shoring up the safety net programs like Medicaid so that it's there for the people that desperately need it, and it is not being abused by illegal aliens and by young able-bodied men who are not eligible to receive that. We are doing all this good work. The president, meanwhile, is using his
Man, of course I got rum ready on deck.
authority
Bring
to
that
change
Sunny
the
D
world,
cup.
literally. He has ended 8 wars around the globe. All of this is happening on the Republican side and so much more. That's on one side of the screen, and on the other is the Democrat Party. And what have they done? What do they have to show for the last 10 months of government here? They shut the government down. They voted 15 times to close the government and exact that pain on everyone. We can never forget that. They haven't achieved anything beyond that,
No, Steve Easy, I must have missed that.
except pushing ICE officers around and really spurring on political violence. So I want to say that there's a reason the Democrats are in disarray right now. There's a reason they don't have an identified leader of their party. There's a reason that their favorability, even amongst those in their own party, is at low.
Yes, we got 112 of you guys watching right now. Make sure you guys do me a humongous favor and hit that like button. If you guys are on the vertical side, make sure to double tap your screen, man. I very much appreciate your laborious work. You know what I mean?
Of all time. They don't have a platform, a principle they can defend. They don't have a leader, except for Mondami, who's the new mayor of New York City.
I don't even know who this guy is, but by the way,
leading the party into Marxism and socialism. I think everybody should consider that split screen. I think you should look at it truthfully and honestly and objectively. And I think you can evaluate for yourself which party's working for the people. We're anxious to get that done, to work on health care and affordability and all the issues, to continue doing what we've done. And we look forward to rolling that out for you in the next several days. A few questions, yes?
You said earlier that you would repeal that FBI provision that's in the bill right now. Do you have assurances from Leader Thune that he will bring it up in the Senate?
I did call Leader Thune this morning. I want to say that he is a...
What's up, America Uncensored, my man? Great to see you in the chat.
He's a principled leader. I've enjoyed working with him. We've had a great working relationship and a good friendship. He's a trustworthy, honest broker. And that's why I was so surprised when we found out about that provision. It was put in our clean CR at the last moment. I'm just be honest, I'm very transparent with you all.
Zip tie, good morning.
I was very angry about it. I was. And a lot of my members called me and said, did you know about it? We had no idea. That was dropped in at the last minute.
Miss Lotus.
And I did not appreciate that, nor did most of the House members. Many of them are very angry about that. So we will be bringing that up. We'll probably pass it on suspension early next week, and we'll send it over to the Senate. I had a conversation with Leader Thune early this morning about it. I think he regretted the way it was done, and we had an honest conversation about that. I didn't ask him for any commitment at that time because I had a lot on my plate today, and I've been busy ever since that conversation we had early this morning. But I'm going to speak as truthfully to him as I am to all of you and tell you that I think that was way out of line. I don't think that was a smart thing to do. I don't think it was the right thing to do, and the House is going to reverse it. We're going to repeal that, and I'm going to expect our colleagues in the Senate to do the same thing.
Mr. Speaker, you're for full transparency. So why not just urge all your Republicans to vote for this Massey Connor bill on the Epstein files next week? Put out all the files. Let the American public judge for themselves.
This guy is, I love shit like this. I love people that throw wrenches in the fucking ordeal. You know what I mean? Because I definitely would be doing the same shit if I were on the opposite side, you know.
Thank you for asking the question. We have been for maximum transparency of the Epstein files from the very beginning. What I was opposed to is the reckless disregard that was used in drafting the discharge petition. And we've been over this many times, but it was not drafted in such a way that it would adequately protect innocent victims. We have a responsibility to do that. There's as many as 1,000 women, by some estimates, of people who have been victimized because of the sex trafficking and Epstein and all these horrendous, heinous crimes, and we can't have them subjected to any further harm. So we wanted to make sure that they were whose names were properly redacted out of the files. But the discharge petition is not only reckless, it is also a totally moot point. The Oversight Committee has been working, as you all know, around the clock, working on this. And you have some of the toughest members of Congress on the Republican and Democrat side who are working in bipartisan fashion to go through and release those files. As we stand here tonight, I think we're up to over 50,000 pages of records that are out in the open. You can go online tonight if you're at home and go through it yourself. And the Epstein estate files thus far has been the biggest tranche of important information. We found that outside of the scope of the discharge petition because it was never even anticipated or included in the discharge. The Oversight Committee, well, let me finish. The Oversight Committee has been digging into that, and some of the most valuable information was in the estate files. It includes Jeffrey Epstein's own personal logs, his travel logs, his financial ledgers, his daily calendar. All this is now out in the public, and more is to come. Chairman Comer of the Oversight Committee has done an extraordinary job. You have, again, some of the most notable members in Congress working on that around the clock, and they will continue to have full disclosure. I want to say this tonight, and I think this is a shame to a lot of the Hill Press Corps. I'm not going to name any of you by name, but I haven't seen many stories written yet about the fact that we put the discharge up for unanimous consent on the floor tonight. The Republicans, the Speaker, and the Republicans asked for unanimous consent to just go ahead and pass the discharge because I think it's a moot point. The Democrats objected to the unanimous consent. Nobody's written a story about that. That's stunning to me. How can you miss that? If it was about transparency, if it was about full disclosure, there's two questions you should ask every Democrat in the House and Senate. Why didn't you bring this up during the 4 years of the Biden administration when the Biden DOJ had all these records the entire time? Nobody ever said a word about it. They didn't care. Now it's the biggest thing in the world. Didn't matter at all when Joe Biden had the files. And secondly, if they're for transparency, And they really want all this to be out, and there's such this urgency, then why did they vote down the unanimous consent to pass the discharge petition tonight? I can't answer that question, but they should, and every one of you should ask them about it. Yes.
Thank you. There are several members of your own conference that support at least a one-year extension of ACA subsidies. Others have alternative plans. Now that you're beyond this and as January 30th deadline looms, are you willing to put any one of those measures potentially on the floor?
I've been asked 100 times whether I'll commit to putting any ACA extension on the floor. What I have said from the very beginning, and we were consistent about this, and you all know from day one, the first order of business was to get the government open and working for the people again. It's the most basic responsibility, and we finally got that done tonight. And I said, as soon as the government was open, we would turn our attention to healthcare and all the other issues that are out there. We are willing to work and have always been willing to work in good faith with anybody in this building who wants to bring down the cost of healthcare. The Unaffordable Care Act, the ACA, did exactly the opposite of what they promised it. When the Democrats passed their health care law back in 2010, you all remember, the average American would have their premiums reduced by $2,500. They swore to you, and that was not true. And I think the people that drew it up knew it was not true in the very beginning. It was a lie. The people that were the architects of Obamacare, of the ACA, wanted single payer. They designed a system that they knew, they had to know, because they're really intelligent folks, was going to implode on itself. They knew that it was not sustainable. And what has happened since that time, and we're going to be going through this in great detail next week, get ready. We're going to take you through a timeline of who destroyed American healthcare. And I'll give you a hint. It didn't have anything to do with the Republican Party. It was the Democrats. They're the ones that gave you the Unaffordable Care Act. They're the ones that have been trying to subsidize it and prop it up and add to it ever since. We're the ones that have been trying to fix it. The Republican Party has. What has happened since the Democrats wrecked American health care is that your premiums have gone up by some cases 60%, in some cases more. And it's going to go up further. So their solution is right now they want to subsidize it further. They want to subsidize insurance companies. They want the COVID era extension that was created by the Democrats themselves. They created the subsidy. They're the ones that put the expiration date of December 31 of 2025 on that. They knew it wasn't going to be permanent because it was a boondoggle. And now they're trying to claim it's Republicans' fault? The Democrats created it. The Democrats broke it. The Democrats are driving your cost up. Who are you going to trust to fix health care? It's the Republican Party. Because we have volumes of ideas on how to do this, on how to fix it, on how to drive costs down, and how to increase access to care and quality of care. And you're going to see all that vigorous debate. So the answer to your question is, am I going to guarantee a vote on ACA unreformed COVID-era subsidies that is just a boondoggle to insurance companies and robs the taxpayer? We got a lot of work to do on that. The Republicans would demand a lot of reforms before anything like that was ever possible, and we have to go through that deliberative process.
Real quick, you guys don't have to like what's going on in the world or in American politics, but you guys can hit that like button for us. I very much appreciate your guys' help on that. We got 179 people watching right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button.
We have 435, well, currently 433 members of the House of Representatives. There's a lot of opinions in this building, and on our side, certainly a lot of opinions on how to fix healthcare and make it more affordable. I have to allow that process to play out. I'll leave you with this. The biggest objection that I had to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who are playing political games with people's lives when they shut the government down, was Chuck Schumer came out and said the quiet part out loud. I don't even think he realized he has no self-awareness. But he came and cried to all of you that I would not agree to go into a back room and make a four corners agreement on these issues. That just he and I and Hakeem Jeffries and Leader Thune would go in a room and make this decision for the entire population of America.
What's up, Dark Soul?
And block out all of our colleagues as if they had no voice in it. That is why Washington is broken. That's why Congress hasn't worked well for people. That's why they don't have a lot of faith in what goes on here. And I'm committed to trying to restore that faith. And one way we do that is we get back to regular order, and we allow all the duly elected members of this body to have their voices heard. I'm not playing games, and Chuck Schumer, I'm not going in a back room with you and making a four corners deal on anything. And I hope you understand that. Thank y'all. We got the government open. Let's celebrate tonight.
He said, let's celebrate tonight. And then he just walks off. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the next. Trump signing the actual bill itself. Let's go ahead and bring that up. That happened last night. Let's go ahead and bring that up here right now.
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our health care businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort, the Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. Just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons. I want to thank Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, as well as House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and numerous other great Republican leaders and congressmen and senators who are here and frankly spent a long time in Washington getting this thing to go away. I also want to thank the broad coalition of Americans that stood with us in this fight to reopen government, including the Teamsters, the American Federation of Government Employees, the Fraternal Order of Police, AMVETS, the National Small Business Association, the American Farm Bureau, the American Trucking Association. These are all incredible patriots. The Airlines for America, the Allied Pilots Association, the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, and many, many others, unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late.
20,000 flights.
People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid. And the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. If we had the filibuster terminated, this would never happen again. And don't forget, we have another date coming up in the not too distant future. We can never let this happen again. And we should be able to pass great, really great legislation. So I say terminate the filibuster because, by the way, the Democrats will do it immediately if they ever assumed office, which hopefully they won't. Today, we had the highest stock market price ever in all of the different markets. We set a record. It's the 48th time in the 9 months that I've been in office that we had this record set. So think of that, 48 times we had a record set, but today is the highest of them all. We're going to break new grounds. Nobody would have thought. I have with us not only the great political leaders, but the great business leaders of our country. They're standing right behind me and right really alongside of me. And if we would have told them a year ago that we'd be having stock prices this high, none of them, in fact, I just asked them that question, none of them would have believed it. And that inures to jobs and, very importantly, to 401ks, which have also set a record today, a record high for the people that have 401ks. And also, I want to thank Walmart because they came up with a fantastic study. It was the cost of Thanksgiving coming up and the cost of Thanksgiving from a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden. And we're 25% lower this year than we were a year ago. And it's a very inclusive report. So I want to thank Walmart. They've done it for many years, but we believe in that, and we believe in that company. I want to also thank the 8 Senate Democrats who finally did the right thing in voting to end this craziness, this madness. But unfortunately, the vast majority of congressional Democrats were happy for millions of Americans to suffer. They really did suffer, too. And the Democrats admitted. They said, well, no, we finally have a point. Even though people have to suffer, we finally have a point, and that didn't work out too well for them. But they really went out and they could appease the fringe benefits of their far-left base, but that didn't work out because now their far-left base is angrier than ever before. We actually elected a mayor of New York City who happens to be a communist. When was that going to happen? Remember I said all the time during my campaign, we will never be a socialist country, and that's right. We turned out to have a communist in New York City, and if you look at his views, those are the views of a communist, not a socialist. So this is no way to run a country. I hope we can all agree that the government should never be shut down again, end the filibuster, terminate the filibuster. It'll never happen again. So with my signature, The federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again for all Americans. Again, costs are way down. Energy is way down. Gasoline is at $2.50 a gallon versus $4.70 for the Democrats. And we think we're going to hit pretty close to $2 a gallon. That's like a really massive tax cut. It's the equivalent of that. And speaking of tax cuts, our great, big, beautiful bill is giving everybody in our economy, middle income workers, low income, everybody, the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. And it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and very importantly, no tax on overtime. You work overtime, there's no tax. That's among the things that add up to the biggest tax cut in history. And one other thing, you hear about rich people with deductions. Well, when you buy your car and you borrow money, you're allowed to now deduct the interest on that loan. So you can take that interest deduction and what you can take is that interest payment and deduct it for income tax purposes. That's a tremendous tax cut right there. But it all includes fixing the healthcare system that Democrats broke with the disaster known as Obamacare. Obamacare was a disaster from day one. It's done nothing but go up. And if you remember President Barack Hussein Obama, when he came up with this crazy idea, he said everything's going to be great, rates are going to go down, payments are going to go down, everything's going to go down. It went the exact opposite with the biggest increase of healthcare in any country. It's a disaster. And I'm calling today for insurance companies not to be paid, but for the money, this massive amount of money, to be paid directly to the people of our country so that they can buy their own health care, which will be far better and far less expensive than the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've had, I think, great support. I've even had Democrat support. So we want the money that would be going to the insurance company, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. Their stock prices have gone up by 1,000% in many cases, 1,000% over a short period of time, because our country stupidly pays them so much money with this Obamacare scandal. So I want the money to go directly to you, the people. And you go out and you'll buy your own health insurance and you'll negotiate different plans and you'll get much better insurance and you will be an entrepreneur for yourself. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with healthcare. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own healthcare, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So with all of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this
A few moments later.
Short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you very much.
Shit.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you have questions. I think we really have a really great situation. We have a country that we love, and we have a country that's in great shape. As you know, we have now it's over $18 trillion invested in our country by other people and countries. That's a record. There's never been a country that had so much, and that money's going into also building new auto plants, new AI plants, new everything. We've never had a time like this. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's where he's going to end it. Once he says thank you very much like that, it's over. He ain't going to answer shit. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see what's happening here. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of information in regards to House to vote next week on Epstein files, Johnson says. That is this morning, by the way. Let's go ahead and bring that up. And here it is.
Welcome back, everyone. Here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Great to be with you as we continue to bring you some major breaking news stories coming from Capitol Hill. The House just passed the bill to end the government shutdown, 222 to 209. Now we are expecting President Trump in less than an hour to be signing the bill inside the Oval Office. We will be bringing you that when it does happen. In the meantime, another big story coming from Capitol Hill and beyond about the Epstein files. Once again in the news, Fox News Rebecca Castor with a breakdown of everything that happened today.
Democrats released 3 emails Wednesday calling into question how much President Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's sex crimes. In one from 2011, Epstein tells his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him." And in another from 2019, Epstein tells columnist Michael Wolff, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
It is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government.
Calling it a smear campaign, the White House denies the president was involved in any wrongdoing, while Democrats continue to push for the release of all of the Epstein files.
He campaigned on releasing all the Epstein files, obsessed about it. His vice president obsessed about it. And now the White House is involved in a massive cover-up, and we want to know why won't they release the files?
Lawmakers are now...
Much love, Zip Tie. I always appreciate having you in the chat. Thank you.
A step closer to that with
Have a great
Democratic
rest of your day.
Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva officially sworn in. She'll be the final signature needed on a discharge petition that will force a vote on a bill compelling the Justice Department to release everything it has on Epstein.
The American people are going to get the transparency that they deserve.
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever.
In a post online, President Trump calls the accusations a Democratic hoax and a distraction. That vote on the discharge petition is expected in early December. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And Representative Grijalva did assign that discharge earlier today, right after being sworn in on Capitol Hill. We want to continue, though, to talk about these Epstein emails. Let's continue to bring in our next guest star right now from Politico, Haley Fuchs. Great to have you on. And Politico, you guys have been doing such a great job covering every angle of this. And yeah, so does the White House have a point here about the timing of when?
No worries, Naomi. I always appreciate you too. Thank you for your work, as always.
These emails were released.
So the House Oversight Committee got these materials last Thursday. So certainly it does seem that it was quite convenient that the materials were published as House lawmakers were returning to Washington for the first time in quite a long time. But the allegations in the email are quite explosive. And so it's interesting to see how it's been playing out on the Hill today.
Yeah, and talk about how Speaker Johnson is going to play this. It looks like, and what he said earlier, is that he wants to have a vote there on the floor as early as next week.
Yeah, so he told reporters earlier today that the plan is to have a vote on the bill next week. You know, it's likely to pass on the floor, but still it's an uphill battle for it to pass the Senate and then for Trump to sign it into law.
And for President Trump, the pressure would be to he could veto it, and then that again would be a talking point for Democrats. What is likely going to happen in these really next couple of days and then into next week?
So it's likely, it's almost certain to pass the House. They definitely have the votes there. But GOP leadership in the Senate has not said they would bring it up for a vote. So legislation could just languish in the Senate for the foreseeable future.
Interesting. All right. Well, I think that's enough information about that. Let's go and move on into the next storyline of segments here. We got, as of 2 hours ago, Israel-Hamas latest IDF to receive captives' bodies. So I'm guessing that they are receiving another dead hostage.
It is Thursday, November 13th, and today marks day 769 since Hamas started a war, murdering our people and taking them hostage.
Man, you gotta love how they always start off with that every single time. I'm just gonna say that.
Today marks exactly 1 month since our 20 living hostages returned home for a second chance at life when they were freed from the chains, horrifying abuse, and starvation and Islamic rule, a terror rule that they were kidnapped into. Our 20 living hostages are not only rehabilitated.
Hey, Joseph, I got you, homie. I definitely got you. We haven't done it at all.
Just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
But they're living life again, eating food they have dreamed of, spending time with the people they have missed the most, and recovering from the enormous trauma they endured for 2 years. It also marks exactly 1 month since Hamas first violated the ceasefire deal. As they did not return all 28 of our deceased hostages, they were held in captivity. Let's not forget, the terror group had 72 hours to search for the remains of our deceased hostage 1 month ago. ago, and 1 month later today, the remains of 4 of our hostages are still being held by terrorists inside of the Gaza Strip. We are demanding for them to be returned home immediately. Their names are Meni Goddard, Ron Gvili, Dror Or, and Tyna.
Okay, this is like great and all, but I want to know about what's currently happening with you receiving another body. I want to know about that.
There are media reports claiming right now that Hamas and Islamic Jihad are preparing to return the body of one of our 4 hostages later this evening. I can share with you that Israel has not received any official notification of this yet, but we are prepared 24/7 to receive the remains of our hostages. We will know only it is one of our hostages' remains once it is transferred to the Forensic Institute and is confirmed with proper identification. Israel is continuing to enforce the ceasefire agreement against Hamas terrorists every.
And by the way, right after this, we're going to be ending with, I guess, 15 minutes ago, NYC Mayor-elect Mamdani discusses child care plan. We'll go ahead and talk about that here in a few.
Every single day. On Wednesday, a terrorist was identified crossing the yellow line near Khan Yunis and approaching our IDF forces. Following the identification, our IDF soldiers eliminated the terrorist as it posed an immediate threat to our soldiers. Additionally, on Wednesday, while IDF troops were operating in the area of Rafah to dismantle underground terror infrastructure, all in accordance with the ceasefire, they identified 4 armed terrorists on the eastern side of the yellow line within Israeli operational control. Our forces acted and struck and eliminated 3 of the armed terrorists. Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it abundantly clear Israel will work to defend all of its borders and will do so independently to protect our nation from any threat. Prime Minister Netanyahu will make independent decisions for this country, for all of its citizens.
And I think people know that already. You're saying shit that we already know. I'd like to actually get to this hostage situation here.
Open for the entry of humanitarian aid trucks into the Gaza Strip. And the aid will be transferred by the United Nations and international organizations following thorough security inspections by the Land Crossings Authority of the Ministry of Defense. Hundreds of trucks carrying food, water, fuel, gas.
Always appreciate you, Dark Soul. Hopefully you have a great rest of your Thirsty Thursday.
Medicines, medical equipment, tents, and shelter supplies continues to enter the Gaza Strip every single day in coordination with the UN, international organizations, donor countries, and the private sector. I'll now take a few questions.
So
the first question is from Dan Williams, Bloomberg. Question for the briefing. Is Israel preparing part of the yellow zone for renewed Palestinian habitation, even in the absence of a Hamas disarmament and ouster in the Gaza Strip? If so, where, for how many civilians, and with what end date? So Israel will maintain overall security control of the Gaza Strip. And of course, all details in the 20-point plan will be followed. Israel will continue to uphold this 20-point plan.
So, are you not going to get to it?
Cornwell from Reuters. All right, this is...
Let's see what the question is. If it's not what I want, then we're going to move on.
A very lengthy question. U.S. Secretary of State last night expressed concern about the recent wave of settler violence in the West Bank. Overnight, Chief of Staff...
No, I think now she does all of the regards of press and all that. She does it now.
Rafael Zamir condemned recent settler attacks, according to Israeli police. 3 of the 4 individuals were arrested on Tuesday. Does the government unequivocally condemn acts of violence committed by Israeli citizens against Palestinians in the West Bank?
Okay, so this question I hadn't... I don't know why they even talk about it if they're not going to talk about it. Anyways, New York City Mayor-elect Mamdani discusses child care plan. This just came out 15 minutes ago. Let's go and bring this up and talk about it.
Now from Fox, we are going to head out live now to Brooklyn as we're hearing from New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani.
Childcare providers here to learn about the incredible work that they do each and every day and how difficult our city has made it for them to do that kind of work. And we know that while families with young children comprise about 14% of this city's population, they comprise about 30% of the set of New Yorkers who are leaving the city. And that's because after housing, childcare is the #1 cost in so many New Yorkers' lives. And we see that in the average estimate of $22,500 a year being the cost of childcare for a single child across these 5 boroughs. And so I'm here thankful for the opportunity to not only share our vision for what universal childcare would look like for the people of this city, but also to listen and learn from those who've been on the front lines of delivering that childcare today, to learn how we can do a better job of actually being partners in City Hall tomorrow. Thank you all for coming.
All right, we'll start with on topics first, please.
Mayor-elect Mike from Chalk Beat.
Hey Mike, how's it going?
Good. I'm wondering what lessons you're drawing from the rollout of universal pre-K as you think about your own universal campaign. Obviously, it was a huge policy achievement, happened very quickly, helped a lot of people, but I've also spoken to a lot of providers, some of whom have spoken to you about the fact that it disrupted things for them. It drew away teachers, it drew away students, some of them had to close down. So how are you kind of thinking about what lessons to take from that as you roll out your own program?
I think there is a critical need to ensure that the childcare we're providing is high quality. And that is something that I've learned mostly in the conversations that I've been having with childcare providers themselves, the importance of that being foregrounded in what we're creating.
That's right, Brother Blair, by the way. Yes, we got a total of 91 of you guys in here right now. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you double tap that screen. Appreciate you guys.
I think that UPK provides a model for how city government can meet the needs that would otherwise be pushing New Yorkers out of these 5 boroughs. And I'm also looking to learn from the lessons of implementation and ensure that we are building on that we are also not seeing this as an opportunity to throw everything out that came before us, but instead an opportunity for us to build on that which has come before and deliver childcare to those who currently are being pushed out of it.
Yeah, Andrew.
Sir, I realize that it's early. How do you envision the rollout of all of this? Would you be rolling it out in phases? And what is the overall timeline? When can you say to New Yorkers, this is our vision realized?
I view the time that I will be the mayor as the time that we have to implement the policies that we ran on. Those are policies that I fully intend to fulfill, and we intend to fulfill them because the absence of them has been costing New Yorkers an immense amount of money. In a single year, it was measured that our economy paid the cost of about $23 billion due to the absence of affordable childcare. On the question of timeline, on the question of phases, these are the conversations we are having over the course of this transition. This is what animates so many of the questions of who we hire and how we create our city hall, because what we want to do is be clear and transparent with New Yorkers, and as soon as we have more information to share on that, we'll be sure to do so.
Are you talking about 1 term or 2 terms when you talk about your time in office?
Maximum 2 terms.
Can you talk a little bit about the latest conversations you've had with the governor about implementing universal child care? I know that you guys have spoken about working on it together. Like, what's sort of your game plan in Albany next year? Can you shed some light on that?
What I've appreciated is that Governor Hochul and I share a commitment to universal child care. It's a commitment that recognizes the fact that the absence of it is not only one that is affecting families, it's also affecting providers and it's affecting staff. And we've heard the fact that while so much of this conversation rightfully centers on the questions of funding, there's also a number of issues around policy, around structure, around RFPs, and just hearing earlier today that the city has oftentimes made it harder. Whereas today we have 2 classrooms that are empty that used to be providing infant care in this very facility. And we know that the lack of flexibility sometimes between school day and extended care has also meant that there are families that are unable to get the care that they need. And in the conversations I've had with the governor, it has been about fulfilling the vision of universal child care and ensuring that government becomes a partner as opposed to a burden or an obstacle. And that's something that we are going to be spelling out in the weeks and the months to come.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Maldonado. How you doing? We know that this universal child care is the biggest area of alignment that both you and the governor have talked about. to be frank, is this how you get the millionaire's tax or the corporate tax through? You put it in this bucket where there is this universal alignment. So is that how you get that through? And then also, just because there's a hearing today, what do you think about the idea of separating EMTs from firefighters?
You know, the universal child care is something that we've seen in other cities, in Montreal, for example, rather in Quebec. We saw the implementation of universal child care also led to a 10-to-1 economic return.
Yo, real quick, we got Alfred coming in with the $2 on the Cash App saying, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Bruh, I very much appreciate you with the $2 in the Cash App, my man. Thank you for that.
This is something that we care about it on a moral level, care about it on a political level, but also on an economic level. And I've put forward 2 proposals that I think are the most straightforward and direct ways to raise the revenue for this program, as well as our economic agenda, and to start Trump-proofing our city, increasing personal income taxes on the top 1% by 2%, increasing the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey. I've also said that the most important thing is not how we fund it, but that we fund it. I think these are the most direct ways to do so. But any funding stream that would fund these programs, that is one that we would welcome, because the most important thing at the end of the day is that someone can raise their family in this city, and that we make it easier for them to do so.
Isn't using the shared goal the easiest, most straightforward way to envision both
Oh
shit! Your tax plan and your universal
What's up,
child care plan, this area of alignment?
I do think that these tax proposals are the ones that make the most sense, and I also will always be married to the outcomes of what we fund with that.
And EMTs, please, sir.
Yeah, I look forward to I look forward to following up on the hearing, and I think the point for me is also, when we're building our city hall, we're building it with an assessment of excellence and an assessment of fluency. And when we're thinking about fire, when we're thinking about EMT, I also want to be surrounding myself with those who have been doing this work before coming to a conclusion that would affect the lives of many. Thank you, sir.
I wonder if you could comment. So Mayor Adams now plans to designate the Elizabeth Street Garden as parkland. I know previously you spoke about that site potentially being used as affordable housing. Does his actions hinder your plans for the site? What do you make of it? And how do you envision, how this site should be used moving forward?
It is no surprise that Mayor Adams is using his final weeks and months to cement a legacy of dysfunction and inconsistency. And I have made clear over the course of the campaign what my vision would be in meeting the urgent need of building affordable housing, especially for seniors across New York City. And the actions that the Adams administration has taken now make it nearly impossible to follow through with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could, 2 things. I wonder if you could comment on where you are with NYPD. There's a bit of reporting that Dean Foulahan may want oversight of NYPD. Now it sits with the mayor. And then secondly, I think I'll stay on the previous topic. Can you talk?
I think this is the last question right here.
Talk about how you get this funded if there is no appetite for a tax on the wealthy in Albany. How do you get it funded? How do you? It's a goal, but if it can't get funded, then I think you're going to have a lot of upset parents.
Well, I'm glad that we won't have to entertain the hypothetical, and that's because I am confident of what this coalition can accomplish, and the fact that it's a coalition that also not just includes myself, not just the governor, but also we've seen time and again in the Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, in the Majority Leader of the State Senate Andrea Stewart-Cousins, commitments, as you can see in their one-house budgets, to taking the steps that would make New York City more affordable. And that to me is, why it's also important that I am standing here alongside 2 elected members, whether it be in the State Assembly or the City Council, for whom this has been part of their compass, part of their fight.
Okay, so there was a lot that I actually read the donor list regards to about the reconstruction of what it was at the East Wing of the White House and the ballroom and all part of that. I actually read the list of donors that donated to that. It never did come from taxpayers or the government, that kind of money, but it was bought out by different companies. I mean, like Meta, there was all sorts of fucking companies. I think there was I swear to God, 150 companies. It was kind of ridiculous.
In there to New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani as he's speaking about his vision for universal child care, as well as what those discussions have looked like between him and Governor Kathy Hochul to make that a reality. Speaking live there at this child care center in Brooklyn as we step away for another.
What's up, June? Great to see you in the chat right when we're fucking ending the show. I very much appreciate you guys coming in, by the way, and helping out the show by hitting that like button, engaging in the comment section. I'm very honored to be able to do this Monday through Friday, doing the world's, looking at the world's madness and reviewing it and talking about it and being able to present it to you guys. So very honored to be able to do that. Thank you all so much for making these very shows happen. Stick around. We're going to be raiding our buddy CT. He's live right now, so make sure you guys let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. And listen, again, I'm very appreciative. Thank you for all of your guys' support. And also make sure you guys go check out, my Instagram right here is @BallValveTV. Make sure you guys check me out over there. I post all, lifestyle behind the scenes stuff of the show, as well as breaking news over there as well. So I very much appreciate everybody's support and help. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. But until then, God bless everyone and be safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry.